Hello. Well, thanks, Casper. I don't really know where to go with that, but it's great to be here. It's great to be back in Paris, great to be back at Aviva World. I can't believe it's only been a year since I've been at the conference and certainly talking to all of you. And really appreciate all of you attending. And I'm looking forward to taking it forward here on our discussion around delivering on the vision, and specifically what we're doing in the technology realm to help deliver on a lot of the challenges posed by the group earlier here with Jean-Pascal, Mate, and Caspar, and really how that's going to manifest itself in the software technologies. And so, as customary with all of my sessions, I'm going to move pretty quickly, but I wanted to start with a couple of key tenets about what it takes for us on the technology side to actually deliver, and just remind you that of a few focal areas for us. And look, the first one is domain specificity. Remember that our goal in life is to sort of take care of all things industrial, manufacturing, critical infrastructure. That is what we do. So when we look at taking technologies and we look at applying technologies like cloud, like AI, like visualization, all of that is through the lens of domain specificity and industry capabilities. So you hear us talk about and demonstrate Gen AI, but through the lens of how do I use that to increase productivity on design engineering? Or how do I do that to improve reliability-centered maintenance in manufacturing and operations? So that's the first thing, domain specificity. Second thing that we bake into our roadmap and our technology is the ability to be actionable. Remember, a lot of what we do is writing back to critical control systems, advising operators to take steps, dealing with and writing down set points or process changes or procedural changes. That closing the proverbial industrial loop is a big deal. It's one thing to capture and collect data and display it. It's another thing to actually take action on that. And so we bake that into the capabilities that we've been known for a long time. And I would say the third key tenet of all this is that in the world that we live in, as explained by the group a bit earlier here, we need to bake in, I guess, relentless levels of hyper interconnectivity and hyper collaboration. So all the neutrality, the openness of our technologies and platforms to be able to interoperate is top of mind for us. And so it should come at no surprise then that for us, the very baseline of our strategy and direction starts with the idea of all things digital, whether that be a digital twin, a digital thread, a digital backbone upon which we start to design, build, and operate the life cycle of the industrial manufacturing value chain. And what we believe is that all things are sort of born digital, or increasingly will become scanned digital. So as we design large pieces of equipment, machinery, plants, and facilities, as we construct them and build them, we capture a digital representation of that. And as we move that into the operations realm, where we actually start to animate the equipment, the machinery, the people to go produce finished goods, to make fresh water, power, pharmaceuticals, that we do that all in a very digital native fashion. And a lot of these things are born digital or scanned in digital as representations or facsimiles of it. And that puts us in a great position to do what? Optimize all elements of that. And we can certainly optimize for just design or just construction management, taking costs out, or we can certainly optimize for the production operations side of the business. But when you bring down those boundaries between those different areas, and you stitch those together through a digital backbone and you blur the lines, you're able to actually optimize the entirety of that value chain, which leads to unparalleled levels of innovation and return on investment. And that embodiment of that, as Caspar alluded to, that is Connect. Our answer to solve that problem, the thesis through which we're investing, all the cases that I'm going to show you, all the tech that we're showing, is predicated on that. Connect is the environment through which we experience all these different endeavors. It is the industrial platform that underpins all the capabilities that we have. It sort of embodies that design, build, operate, optimize. It brings together the engineering information, the operational information, and the traditional IT, right, or informational technologies all under one environment to ultimately deliver what? A seamless digital experience or a digital twin. What's helped sort of bring together that digital enterprise. Again, optimizing all elements of that. And the good news, I would say, is that a lot of that technology, the brands, the things that sort of make up Connect, are the culmination of our 50 years of innovation and history. And so what I'm going to do now is take you through three key areas of how we deliver value through Connect. The first one's through innovation, industrial innovation. So I'm going to show a number of use cases across different industries of how this is being used and applied today. And I'm going to punctuate that with some demos, some high-resolution demonstrations of this stuff. Second thing is how we're enriching the value of existing investments. Many of you here today are users of our Pi system, our InTouch system platform, our Ampla, our SciTech, our Unified Engineering, or E3D. Remember, we're increasing the value of those technologies through Connect, not only as standalone entities, but as they become part of that family. And last but not least, the amount of capabilities that are delivered through our partner ecosystem, those that are represented here in the audience. And so I want to take each one of those and try and punctuate through demos, through some technologies, how we're delivering on that. So if we start with innovative new solutions, gosh, there's so many to talk through. Caspar talked about Brilliant Planet earlier, talked about some great innovations with Yinson and others. I think the first thing I'll point out is that for every vertical market, every industry here at Aviva World, you'll hear amazing case studies and successes about industrial innovation and how customers are using our tools and technologies to enable the use cases that are delivered through Connect. I think if I start with maybe one quick example here on the mining side, fantastic success story with a company called Talison. And what Talison Lithium does is they produce, I think it's roughly 40% of the world's hard rock lithium, which of course is used for a lot of the energy and renewables value chain that we all sort of are enjoying and moving towards. And Talison's been a fantastic customer of ours. They use a lot of our automation and control systems, and they've been able to sort of slowly but surely integrate those pieces, adding on value through Connect, and deliver demonstrable results across their value chain, their pit-to-port operations, where they've essentially optimized for energy usage, sustainable use of water and other natural resources. They've been able to increase the productivity and the yield for certain sites and facilities that they've got, and they've been able to empower the workforce to sort of take advantage of field workers and field improvement to drive optimization. So it's a great case in point for how a company like Talison upstream in the value chain is delivering on lithium production and optimization to help fuel that energy transformation that Jean-Pascal and the folks were talking about earlier here. On the topic of energy, a fantastic case study in conjunction with one of our EPC partners and a group that's designed for a lot of the new renewable energy facilities and sites and employments, in particular with the Red Seas environment. And this is a great case where we've used our design engineering tools in the ETAP environment to create the electrical digital twin to allow our partners to essentially build at scale more complex electrical configurations and systems, deploy them at scale, simulate for different anomalies and different situations, different loads, and therefore increase the reliability of those systems and sources. And again, it's a great case study of partnerships for us and how a technology can sort of embed itself directly in Connect and deliver net new value to help address some of the sustainability challenges that we're all sort of facing here today. And maybe the last example I'll touch on before I show some software here is on the marine side. And what's interesting about the marine and sort of shipbuilding side is how we've really pivoted. Aviva has a module called Aviva Marine that focuses on the design for ships, hull design, things like that. But we've also been moving into more the operational side of things, where we look at fuel optimization, we look at running a ship just like a plant or a facility. It's got water systems, it's got balance of plant, it's got power. And so it's a great case where we sort of transition from that design build piece into the operations. But it's also a great case in point to help me illustrate to you in visual sort of visual style, kind of how this stuff all comes together. And so with that, let me give you a demonstration of this Connect experience and how some of these examples of innovation sort of manifest themselves, starting with marine and ships, okay? So the first thing is, users that want to participate in Connect will obviously do the old obligatory login to the system. In this case, I'm accessing a catalog of offers. I'm going to click the visualization piece because this is a demo, and it's a lot easier to see visual things. And then I'm going to launch with the design side of things. So we'll start off with a full 3D rendered model of our FPSO in this case. So this is the complete digital representation of a design that can be used for design reviews, it can be used for maintenance planning. It's all accurate spatially in this entire digital environment and can be used for lots of different purposes on that design side of things. And as we transition into the real-time side or the operational side, the screen shifts, and now we're actually looking at the real-time aspects of a fleet of ships. In this case, we can see on the map in the upper top left shows different FPSOs or vessels. The one on the upper left that's yellow seems to have a bit of a problem, as indicated by the color. And then if you look down by the red number here, there's a performance problem that's on this particular vessel. And as I click on the performance element, you can see up to the right, the context has switched into operations. And now I'm looking at, in this case, a pump, which is showing me that there's some bearing-specific problems. There's some dropouts on this pump. It's sort of dropping out on and off. And on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, we've got to look at our predictive analytics that's saying, hey, at this rate, if this thing continues over time, we'll have a catastrophic failure. This pump will come out of, will no longer be producing, we'll have a problem. And so if we start to weave in more of the technologies such as AI into this, I can use the same experience to start to troubleshoot the problem. So I'm going to launch into our industrial AI assistant directly from this environment. And in this case, what I'm going to start to do is have a conversation about this misbehaving pump. And so I'm going to ask the AI tool, hey, I got an alert for this J9002 pump. Can you tell me if there's any anomalies or things going on? The AI assistant has interrogated our systems and said, yeah, hey, there's been 38 different events on this particular pump. There's certainly some problems with it, 6 hours and 20 minutes due to high vibration, et cetera. And it pops a graph showing what's been produced versus not produced. In the terms of when it's running, it's green, and when it's not running or producing, it's in red. And so from here, I can start to ask for more information, like on this pump, can you do me a favor and pull up maybe the bearing temperatures, maybe the vibration, other attributes that, of course, come from any number of the Pi or SCADA systems in our world. And the system comes back with not only those variables, but also a synthesis of what they are, what they should be. And off to the right, the veracity of the data, the accuracy of it, is actually shown here as a proof point. So you know it's not some hallucination from some large language model that's invented something from a large data lake. And so it's an incredible sort of tie into the direct systems and sources that we've got. And this conversation can continue. So we've got some bearing information about this pump, but now I need to know about this pump itself. So I can ask, like, hey, can you pull up the maintenance manual for this specific pump as designed, as built, as deployed? And you can see there's this wonderful manual that's like 1,000 pages long. And it sort of centers around the part about maintenance. And so what I can do now is actually ask this industrial AI assistant to synthesize or summarize the maintenance and reliability steps from this manual, by the way, not some other outside source. So again, I know the veracity and accuracy of the data. And at this point, we can ask it to say, hey, can you please scan this manual, make some suggestions for what could be causing these vibration problems or temperature problems, et cetera. And then more notably, like, what do I do about it? Like, what are the synthesized steps from the manual on how to take those corrective actions? And so it's stepping through there, telling, hey, do these things, shut the pump down, remove the pump casing, remove the impeller, take these individual steps. And it's kind of a last sort of step in the process. I might need to know where this pump is on that enormous ship that we looked at earlier. And so I can actually ask the system, we've got access to the 3D model for this digital twin, right, for this vessel, for this ship. And in this case, we click on it, drills me directly to that location on the ship where the pump is. And now I can begin to look at all sorts of elements. And what would you use this for? I don't know. Is it a confined space? Do I need a ladder? Do I need a scaffold? Do I need equipment to actually perform the maintenance? And so that sort of end-to-end capability from around the digital twin is really manifest in these types of examples, where I've gone from design, build, operate, and optimize in this seamless environment, transcending design side to operation side to drive improvements, to interact with people, and it blends in all the technologies we've been talking about: cloud, SaaS, AI, visualization, 3D, 2D, 1D, all in one space. And look, I know it's a ship, and a lot of you are not from the marine industry, but it's not just for marine. We can use this technology, as we showed last year, to demonstrate that same exact value chain looking at the wind market or the wind business. And if those of you who attended Aviva World last year, you saw our Windtopia demo, where the same assets were designed in a 3D environment, and we transcended the 3D design environment into a real-time environment, where I'm looking at, in this case, a wind farm, of how it's producing at scale. And I'm able to run predictive analytics. I'm able to look at the design engineering information, all in the context of those operations. The other example is hydrogen. So downstream from our wind farm, maybe we're producing green hydrogen, hopefully. And so in this case, we've got a hydrogen facility. Again, same thing. Digital manifestation of the twin, the engineering design, brought together with the real-time operational side of this, where in this case, again, instead of looking at my wind assets, I'm looking at hydrogen facilities. And I'm looking at the critical assets that are part of that specific system and value chain, integrating those pieces directly in to drive the operations, whether that's maintenance, reliability, or performance of my hydrogen processing facility across all sorts of different dimensions of this. And yes, it could be predictive analytics and prescriptive analytics, or in this case, electrical design, and how that's sort of going to impact all elements of my operation. And of course, if you're from CPG, food, bev, the analog, it still applies, right? The difference is you might have lots of different plants, but in this case, my assets may be more the lines of case packers, fillers, print and apply, spray dryers that all sort of assemble and look at finished goods. But the idea and the concept is the same. I've got a number of assets that's job is to produce finished goods, looking at those in a design engineering environment together with a production operation environment, ultimately to drive significant results. And what cuts across all this is Connect, cuts across all this is that digital twin and digital representation. And I could go on if I had more time and show you examples from every vertical and every industry that we see, but rest assured it applies to all those markets. And so that's the first point I wanted to leave you with here on innovation around what we're doing around this and how it transcends that value chain, how building that digital twin transcends design, build, operate, optimize, helps you optimize that life cycle to meet the challenges that we've been talking about most of the day so far. So the second topic, which is near and dear to many people's hearts, are what are we doing with the existing products and technologies? Well, this whole event, this whole week's going to go into detail about all the different roadmaps, about PI system, about the HMI SCADA system, about our unified engineering environment. But what I wanted to do today is give you a few examples of how we're using the power of Connect to deliver net new value in these existing systems and solutions. And so the first thing I thought I'd start with is the engineering side and show you an example of how we're using generative AI, specifically in design engineering, to help sort of simplify the design process in the construction process. And the idea is pretty straightforward. If those of you are not familiar with, I guess, we'll just call it the traditional design process, essentially this is the dummies version, but essentially you log into an environment. In this case, I'm looking at a design where I've got 3 vessels or tanks, and I'm going to connect those 3 vessels or tanks to 3 different pumps. And yes, for those real engineers in the room, I know I'm grossly simplifying, okay? But the idea is that you essentially will put tails and heads, and you'll put specific flanges, and you'll start to assemble pipes, elbows, pipe segments, and you'll essentially start to route piping from the tanks and the pumps, essentially in this sort of 3D space. Now, the idea with doing the generative AI stuff is that what you've been able to do is essentially take the technologies itself and animate that so that the generative AI tools itself will take a look at connecting the endpoints from the tanks and then directly into the different pumps. And then also ultimately we'll just auto-route and auto-build all the connection points between that. You'd see that essentially we took a task that used to take like maybe an hour down to several minutes. And the time it takes to sort of generate those piping connections in a 3D space, taking away any of the sort of clash detection that's performed on this so that you don't run pipes into a specific piece of structural element or a staircase or anything is all sort of taken care of. And so it really reduces dramatically the cost complexity of doing a design at scale using AI and generative AI. So it's a fantastic new capability that's built into the unified engineering environment, and we're super excited to release that here in the coming months. And so that's sort of one example. Another example that I'll show is a bit about unified engineering itself and how we can use unified engineering, or UE, to essentially connect design teams together using the power of cloud and Connect to do sharing information. And the way this traditionally works is you've got a team that's building on one set of designs that needs to collaborate with another team. And the synchronization of that information between teams becomes quite tricky to manage. And what we've done with Connect is we've essentially made it so that different design teams on different environments, some may be working on electrical, maybe some on piping, can actually be fused together under Connect. So that as these teams are working on one piece of the design, those changes are immediately propagated to the other teams. And so we have one living digital twin, one version of the engineering design space, all kept up to speed, all managed through the advent of the cloud technologies together with Connect. And again, the value here is it reduces cost complexity, takes out project risk, and gives $10 to $15 million per project saving by using this type of deployment methodology. And it scales on beyond that. For anyone in the room that's part of the large EPC community that we've got, this scales out. If you've got large distributed teams around the world, subcontractors working on different pieces of electrical versus piping versus process, all can be brought together under one Connect environment to manage that change. So again, it's a phenomenal case in point where we're able to sort of extend the value of the design engineering space that we have today, that is Unified Engineering and the E3D flagship product, all underneath Connect, using one, generative AI tools to reduce cost complexity, make it better for intelligent designs, for engineering. And then the second one, of course, is more on the unified engineering, bringing teams together to sort of reduce the deployment costs. So second topic I have is for any of the customers in the Mark space here who are familiar with our InTouch, our system platform, our Ampla, our SciTech, our Wonderware MES systems, any of the production level systems that we've got, where we actually are able to, with Connect, fuse those on-site on-prem systems together using our hybrid cloud approach in Connect to deliver new value, such as multi-site aggregation, multi-site reporting, analysis, process centerlining, a whole range of new capabilities that breathe new life into those existing on-prem and existing solutions. And so the demonstration I've got here is fairly similar. We've got a number of SCADA-type systems that sit on-site on-prem. And what these systems essentially do, they're connected into, well, Connect, and they're publishing all their production information, their production data. And so as a user sort of goes across this and actually drills down into it, what I'm able to access is from each of those SCADA systems or production systems, all the information about the process side of this for each individual plant. So I'm looking at the process flow for this particular brewing environment. And then I'm looking at utilization charts, downtime, stoppages, production performance metrics, again, but brought across multiple sites, aggregated into one place. And of course, as with all the other demonstrations, I can see the design engineering information, the so-called digital twin, that also represents this environment, including real-time process production and, of course, design information. And then the generative AI assistant I showed you also applies. But instead of asking it about troubleshooting a pump, here I can ask about utilization and performance. Like for this particular asset, what's the largest downtime event or the longest cause for production stoppages, in this case on MASH 1, and the system will come back with the results, telling you that, hey, these are the results, this is the downtime, this is the performance, and of course, give me the descriptive information. So once again, you can see how we're sort of weaving in different AI techniques directly into the tools and the technology, fusing that together with Connect to allow new levels of visibility, data sharing, and integration. So the last couple examples I want to give on the install base is that of the Pi system. So of course, with Pi, we continue to invest in the core on-site on-prem Pi system. We continue to invest in the integrations between this. But I'd like to show you two case studies where, together with Connect, we've unlocked net new value realization for any of the Pi customers. The first example is that of Pi Vision. So if you're not familiar with what is Pi Vision is the client tool for the Pi system, lets you build screens, displays, or reports. And what we've been able to do here is demonstrate how we've taken your existing investment in Pi Vision systems, and I know a number of you have hundreds, some of you have thousands of these different systems, and you can essentially connect those directly into our environment, allow you to browse through your wonderful collection of Pi Vision screens, select the ones that you want, and then essentially make them available to others in the organization. So as you go through your list of content, and here we pick two specific displays or views, and what we're going to do is publish those two different displays directly up into Connect. So I click these two buttons, we hit the next, the system will go through, do some calculations, do some export, do some migration capabilities in a sense, and then create a representation of that in the Connect cloud environment where it can be used by all the end users alongside all the other visual stuff I've shown you today. And so essentially on this view, we can see our turbine screen. So this was built in Vision. Now it's in the Connect visualization environment. And the same thing with the more detailed view of this. Again, unlocking more value from your existing investments in the Pi system by taking some of the content from Pi Vision, making that available in Connect in a new way to unlock new use cases and new value. Now the second case I'm going to show for Pi is a little trickier to show, but we call it Pi Write Back. But we talk a lot about this hybrid cloud environment where there's a symbiotic relationship between on-site on-prem world, or the edge, and those things that occur in the cloud. And in this particular case, what I'm showing is we've got on-site on-prem Pi systems that are securely publishing information to Connect in the cloud. We're running advanced analytics on some of that data to create an anomaly score, basically a health metric for an asset. And then I'm taking that value from the cloud, sending it back on-site on-prem to the Pi system so that it can be used inside of the Vision screens, the Pi Vision system. And that's what that little 4.5 that's circled on there is. And so what this sort of looks like for you, if you want to kind of follow the bouncing ball or follow the demo in a sense, is we sort of start here with a number of distributed Pi systems. We're publishing data, in this case it's a wind farm, directly into the Connect environment. And as each of these Pi systems is exposing a number of different assets, in this case, these are turbines. And what we're going to do inside the Connect environment is take those Pi variables, or Pi streams or tags, if you like, and then we're going to essentially create an analytics model, which I've greatly shortened for your viewing pleasure here, and essentially going to create an anomaly score. And the anomaly score is some advanced math to basically look at the health and well-being of this asset, and that's going to be distributed here in this gearbox anomaly score. And that's going to be represented as sort of a tag or a variable that sits up in Connect. And of course, I can see that. I can see, sort of test it and take a look at it. And then the last step in the process is I want to take that from the Cloud Connect environment and push it back on-site on-prem to my Pi system. And so as I sort of advance to the screen here, you can see our publisher, our Connect to Pi agent, picks the points that I want to take, and then it's going to write those back down. And so now those variables appear on the same Pi vision screen that the operators are using inside the four walls of the plant. I know that's a mouthful and a lot to follow, but there's a lot of complex sophistication here that has literally taken seconds to implement, as opposed to a lot of complexity if you had to kind of roll your own to fuse those on-prem and cloud-based sort of systems environment to create net new value. So those are just a few cases of how we're investing in some of the technologies and how it gets better and comes together with Connect. And I assure you, attend the breakout sessions where you'll hear more about all the intricate details of the roadmaps for all the aforementioned products. This was just to give you a bit of a glimpse about how these things come together and how we innovate on the sort of Connect platform. And then the last sort of example I wanted to go through is a bit about partner ecosystem. The Connect environment, for decades, for decades, we have been partner-friendly. We have been open and neutral. And that doesn't stop with the Connect platform. And so we've got this amazing partner ecosystem that's represented here today that can extend the value of Connect even beyond that. Many of the partners are out in the booth, at the expo. Many of them are shown here up on the screen. Across many of the years, some of the predictive analytics stuff that we've done with our friends at TwinThread, the great work that we've done on change management and on the engineering side with the Eris team, and then dozens and dozens of other partners that are up there. But if I could take a moment to maybe do a shout out to one partner in particular who's been with us for the long haul, it certainly would be Microsoft. And I know Caspar thanked them earlier and talked a little bit about this, but I thought I'd play a very short clip with you. I ended up catching up with one of our colleagues from Microsoft on a bit of a Teams chat, and he agreed to sort of record for you folks a little bit about his view of how Aviva and Microsoft's working together. And I thought I'd just show you that clip from his Teams meeting.
Thank you, Rob. Very excited to be here, and hi to everybody in the audience. Well, it's already been 30 years that we've had a partnership between Aviva and Microsoft. A lot has happened in the past 3 decades. We've seen IT, OT, ET convergence. We've seen the arrival of mobile. We've seen how cloud has changed our operations, and now we're at the cusp of another technology transformation, which is the age of AI. You've seen from Rob before an amazing example of how AI will change frontline operations with Aviva's Industrial AI Assistant. We believe this is a great enabler and a great way that shows our deep collaboration between Aviva's industrial experience and Microsoft's cutting-edge AI technology. But this is not all. We're also deeply collaborating together on security, so you can bring in even more collaborators across the network. And we're also collaborating on data interoperability between Connect and Microsoft's Fabric product that will make it much easier to get access to all the data in a very easy way. So altogether, it should enable you to bring more transparency to your most critical projects. It should enable you to reduce downtime and overall improve productivity of your frontline workers. Can't be more excited about this new age of AI that's ahead of us. Please come and visit our colleagues on the shop floor in the Microsoft booth. And back to you, Rob. Thank you for having me here today.
What I'd like to just say is Microsoft's been a partner for just the last 30 years, and we've been collaborating on all of the different endeavors as we move from this on-site, on-prem world into a hybrid cloud-connected environment on top of Azure. We've done some amazing things over the last 30 years, collaborating on things like Fabric, things like AI, some of the technologies that underpin some of the core Viz tech, some of the core AI tech. We use models and libraries from them. It's been an incredible collaboration over the last 30 years with Microsoft, and it continues today. And again, they're here at the event. They've got some breakout sessions, and we certainly appreciate their partnership as well as many of the others that have shown up here today. So if we kind of move on here, I'm going to close with 3 examples of other partner solutions, just to accentuate that point about how Connect enables this partner ecosystem, delivers new value beyond the realm of what Aviva provides and our customers provide. And the 3 cases I'll show is data sharing, another case around specialized content, and then a bit about enterprise integration, and that'll sort of take us to the end here. So the first example is kind of an interesting one from the mining industry. I was at the IS3 conference actually several months back in South Africa, and this case study got presented, and I was fascinated by it. It was Harmony Gold. Harmony Gold has one of the world's deepest gold mines in the world. It's like 5 kilometers deep, and they've connected that 5-kilometer deep mine directly up into the cloud, and they capture all sorts of process information about environmental and safety systems for the airflow down there, water and compressed air for a lot of the drills and other equipment that's supporting that. And they make that data available to a partner network of theirs that do managed services, right? Managed services on their equipment, on their mining operations for a various set of tasks and activities. And so phase 1 of this was getting their existing system and environment into Connect so that they could start to optimize those systems and enable their third-party partners to create new value-added capabilities for them in the form of pump optimization, streaming services, energy safety management, and the like. Second phase of their process was to go back and revisit the slag mines and do some reprocessing. This one happens to be a Siemens-based system, which is fine for us because we're open neutral, as you know. And so they're publishing this information directly into Connect to sort of optimize the next level of sort of reprocessing because of how technology has sort of advanced. And the last phase is not implemented, but it's their ambition to do participate in what they call the Mandela Mining Precinct. And so at the country level, what they've done is essentially invited other mining companies to get together to share their data anonymously for use with government agencies, for use in universities, for use in other sort of private and public interests to sort of help make South Africa as a country sort of the mining excellence center of the world. It's a great endeavor just to show you how the power of Connect, data sharing, neutrality, all sort of comes together to deliver net new value realization through a number of different partners. And I love this story because it's got tentacles into lots of different endeavors for new business model creation, new value realization, sustainability, safety, and so on. So that's certainly one case. The next case I'll show is a bit more about pre-configured content. So much of our domain expertise and domain specificity is buried within our partner network and our partner ecosystem. This is a great case where we've done some work with Schneider and some other partners to develop water applications, essentially to show water, wastewater, and the ability for us to actually create pre-configured screens and graphics. And what these systems essentially allow you to do is, as long as you connect your on-prem, on-site systems directly into the Aviva Connect environment, will automatically build for you different visual screens, different graphical environments to allow you to navigate through different 3D representations of your water system without having to create any screens. We have pre-configured templates for things like pump optimization, for leak detection, for hydraulics, for demand planning and forecasting. So it's a whole range of different content and capabilities, all kind of pre-built and pre-configured. And if you want to check this out, certainly hit us up at the expo. But it's a great sort of visual example of how we do these things in the water and wastewater industry. But what it's really going to do is reduce the cost complexity of deploying these systems, because you'll have pre-configured content screens, domain-specific, and domain-specific applications that you can light up. This is just water, but there's other partners working on other verticals and other industries to sort of make all these things possible. Okay, and last but not least, let me just close by kind of where we started, which is this whole idea of enterprise data integration and data sharing, and the fantastic partnership that we've established together with Databricks. And I know that Mate and Casper on the team, we're up here talking about data sharing and data integration. For me, this is a great case in point where you've got in the Aviva Connect environment that sort of domain specificity just manifests in the manufacturing and infrastructure space. Like, we know what the data is, we generate it, we know how to organize it and contain it. When you bring that together with the power of Databricks, you can bring in all the other information sources and allow that to be transparently participate in the same sort of working environment. So the people on the IT side can access OT stuff, people on the OT side can access the IT stuff, all in this sort of seamless framework that's super open and super neutral. And that unlocks the value of the data systems to create new value realization and other personas like data scientists, like reliability experts, like logistics and transportation. So many possibilities, so many great use cases can be enabled by this. So again, super excited about the partnership with Databricks and all of our partners that are represented here at AVEVA and have been our partners for the last 20, 30, 40, dare I say 50 years of innovation. So with that, let me kind of wrap things up. Hopefully by now you've got a sense that for us, Connect is the embodiment of that digital transformation, that journey. It is the digital backbone, the platform through which we deliver value across that integrated value chain, design, build, operate, optimize. When you do that, you can begin to unlock more value beyond all sorts of different use cases that we thought were possible. And in terms of the value that we deliver, number one, net new innovation, new use cases, net new markets, net new problem spaces. Number two, we continue to unlock more value from your existing investments. If you continue to invest in the PI system, the Wonderware InTouch system, an Ampla production system, engineering and UE, those get enriched. The value of those get enriched as we start to participate and bring these pieces together under Connect. And then, of course, rounding that all out is the amazing amount of capabilities that are afforded and enabled through our partner ecosystem, whether those are ISVs, OEMs, value-added resellers, tech partners. All of them play a role in creating sort of the last mile of delivering that value chain. And of course, for us, that's all possible through the power of Connect. And so hopefully by now you've seen that Connect is all about trusted intelligence and information, the same systems and sources you've come to know and love and trust over the past few decades. It's about actionable insights. We don't just capture, collect data and show it to you on a screen. We actually allow you to take output. We generate designs, we generate information, we generate set points, production plans, schedules. We dispatch work. And of course, we do that under this new integrated unified experience. And why does that matter? Because the world's more complicated, and you need systems and sources and technologies that can help you deliver that. And last but not least, under the banner that Caspar left us with around radical collaboration, you really need that extended ecosystem and partner network to enable the people, customers, partners, prospects, to actually make all that stuff happen. So we believe Connect is the ideal means to an end in that regard. So with that, I thank you for your time and indulgence, and I look forward to catching up with you next time. Thank you.
That's how you change the world.